Olá Brasil, olá você aí de casa! Hoje a gente tem um vídeo super especial, porque a gente já falou um pouquinho de como é um trabalho de um produtor. Na verdade, tem vários tipos de produtores e o que eles fazem, que é esse vídeo que está aqui ao seu lado, pra você ver mais ou menos como que funciona um trabalho de produção em um filme, não é TV, é filme. E hoje vocês vão ver a entrevista que eu tive a oportunidade de fazer com o Andrew Meyer, que é um produtor executivo de Hollywood. E além de tudo, ele dá aula de cinema lá nos Estados Unidos, ele também participa de vários workshops, inclusive ele esteve aqui no Brasil pra isso. Ele dá aula na Savannah College of Art and Design, é muito chique. E ele é um produtor executivo, então ele sabe como funciona o esquema, e ele produziu o Clube dos Cinco, que é um filme, né, que a gente ama muito, que virou um clássico, e também produziu Tomates Verdes Fritos, além de vários outros filmes que ele fez e continua fazendo ao longo da sua carreira. Então eu fiz algumas perguntas pra ele que eu achei que vocês iam gostar de saber um pouquinho mais como é o trabalho de um produtor executivo de verdade, e até pedir pra ele dar uma dica pra quem quiser ser produtor executivo. So Andrew, everybody wants to know what is the real life of an executive producer. What do you really do?
He or she is the only producer involved from the beginning of the project to the end of the project. And an executive producer traditionally has to raise the money, come up with the idea, find the talent, find the locations, produce the movie with other producers, and market the movie, because now you have to start a social media campaign at the moment you decide to make a movie. So the executive producer is the only producer. There are variations of this, but from the beginning to the end, through the end of distribution, to be there the whole time.
Can you explain for them what is the pitching process? When you have an idea, where do you go, what do you do with that?
If you have an idea as a creative person, you go to somebody with money. That would be a good idea. And that person can be a private individual, a production company, a studio, and you have to be very prepared and explain to them what the bankable elements, we call them, stars, major directors, original idea, what they are, and most importantly, how they're going to get their money back.
That's important.
That's what pitching's about.
And what is the daily routine when the movie is already rolling? You go to the office, you go to the set, usually how it works?
Well, you are on set, and you may be, in my case, I was running a company, so I was going back and forth. And every day you want to know what is called the over and under. This is very important, whether you went over budget that day or under budget.
Because it's never even, right?
Well, it could be even, but it's usually one or the other, over or under. And so you're watching the money, you're also looking at dailies. Dailies are whatever you shot that night you look at. If you have an editor that's expensive, some independent films can't afford that, they may cut a scene together while you're shooting and you look at that. So it's a pretty busy time.
And what is the hardest kind of movie to produce, in your opinion?
The hardest kind of movie, they're all hard. There's no easy movie.
But do you think like a movie when it has rights, is an adaptation, something like that, it's harder, or once you've done with that, it's the same?
Well, getting the rights can be harder. And I've made a lot of the movies I've made are from books. And so I know that process very well. Fried Green Tomatoes was from a book, and Birdie was from a book. But once you have the rights, then the process is very similar.
What are the differences in the industry when you did The Breakfast Club, for example, and nowadays?
When I made The Breakfast Club, it was a little movie. It was always a little movie. And we made a deal with Universal, and we didn't know if it was going to be in 4 or 5 theaters. We had no idea how big it would be. But it was shown in theaters, and we just had the 30th anniversary, and the film was re-released in 500 theaters. And I can tell you, when we made that movie, nobody thought we would have a 30th anniversary and be talking about the 30th anniversary party. We just want to get into some theaters and see what happened. But today, a movie like that may be released only by streaming. It may not even be on theaters. They look at a little movie like that, and it's a digital release. That's not necessarily a bad thing. You can make a lot of money through streaming. I mean, a lot of people think they have to be in theaters, but a lot of movies come out from video on demand and do very well.
Yeah,
so
nobody expected that, right?
Right.
How do you think a Brazilian producer can get into Hollywood?
A Brazilian producer is no different than any other producer, and I've lectured all over the world, and I say the same thing. It's a level playing field. If you have access to YouTube or Vimeo and you can get, like your channel, people all around the world see it. So it's not about being a Brazilian producer, it's about having an original idea, knowing how to use digital media to get your word out. And once you do that, you can be in Antarctica, it doesn't matter.
And if you could leave a tip for them who wants to produce, what tip would you give them?
However hard you're working, you're not working hard enough. The people who are the most successful work all the time, are passionate, are driven, and are focused. If you can do that with an idea that is worth making, you'll be successful.
Thank you very much, Andrew.
Thank you.
Então é isso, gente. Espero que vocês tenham gostado. Quem ainda ficou com alguma dúvida, coloquem nos comentários. Coloquem também sugestões de outras profissões do cinema que vocês querem conhecer melhor. Não deixe de curtir o vídeo, assinar o canal. E um beijo. Tchau!